Today we solve a simple but deadly problem: how to reclaim power from those who take your attention for granted and turn their calm into panic without lifting a finger. Have you ever noticed the moment you stop chasing, stop explaining, stop caring, they suddenly notice you're in the courts of kings and the streets of commoners? One law is eternal: he who needs less rules more. This is not kindness. This is not mercy. This is power. Today, I will show you why the moment you stop caring, they start panicking. In the theater of human interaction, there is one truth so old that even the ancient courts of Florence whispered it like sacred scripture: power belongs not to the strongest nor the loudest, but to the one who appears to need nothing. You see, people are addicted to control. They want to know they can predict your actions, influence your thoughts, and mold your emotions. The moment they sense you care too much, they know they hold the strings. They can pull when they want you close and let them go slack when they want to keep you waiting. Think about it. When you are eager, when you are visibly invested, you are essentially confessing that they matter more to you than you matter to yourself. And once that confession is made, the balance shifts. Your gestures of kindness become background noise. Your time and energy, once precious, become the expected. The tragedy is not that you are ignored, but that your value becomes invisible. A constant sunrise is rarely appreciated. It's taken for granted until the day it fails to appear. This is why indifference is not cruelty. It's a weapon. When you stand apart, unbothered and self-contained, you are telling the world you do not seek permission to exist in their good graces. It is not arrogance, but an unshakable sense of self-worth. People do not admire those who kneel too quickly. They admire the ones who make them wonder if they are worthy of approach. The court of public opinion operates like the court of kings. Every gesture is a signal. When you rush to reply, when you explain too much, when you bend your schedule around theirs, the signal you send is submission. But when you respond slowly, with measured words, and make them wait, not out of petty spite, but out of genuine disinterest, you shift the power dynamic without saying a word. Now they begin to measure their own value by whether they can get your attention. It works because human psychology is built on scarcity. The things we see less often, we value more. The moments we must fight for, we treasure longer. By appearing detached, you create scarcity of self. You become the rare coin everyone wants to hold, but few can spend. And in that scarcity, your perceived worth multiplies. Indifference is misunderstood by most. They see it as a cold shoulder, a kind of cruelty meant to wound. But real indifference is not about punishing others. It is about protecting your position. It is about ensuring that your emotions are never the battlefield on which someone else plays their games. It is the art of refusing to be predictable. For when you are predictable, you are exploitable. This is why Machiavelli himself would advise, never reveal your hunger. If you must pursue, do it without appearing desperate. If you must care, hide it in layers of composure. The prince who shows his love too freely invites rebellion. The one who conceals it commands loyalty, because those around him are never certain where they stand. That uncertainty is where your leverage lives. When you no longer seem to need someone's approval, they will test your resolve. They will try to provoke you, to lure you into reacting, because reaction is proof of care. But this is where your strength is measured, in the ability to remain still when provoked, calm when challenged, and unshaken when ignored. The more they press, the more their curiosity grows. Why are you not chasing? Why are you not bending? What do you know that they don't? And here's the subtle truth. They begin to work for your validation. They alter their words to please you. They choose their timing to align with yours. They become cautious where they were once careless. In their eyes, your indifference transforms you into a mystery, an unsolved puzzle they cannot walk away from, and it is human nature to chase what cannot be easily claimed. The powerful man or woman is not the one surrounded by admirers. It is the one who could have the room's attention but seems content to stand in the corner, entirely unmoved. That presence creates a silent gravity, pulling others in without a single word. Indifference makes people doubt their position with you, and in that doubt, they scramble to prove themselves worthy. Because the truth is, people are never more attentive than when they fear losing something they thought they already owned. And when you withdraw your visible care, when you stop displaying the signs of emotional investment, they are forced to confront the possibility that they are no longer in control of the game they thought they were winning. And nothing disturbs the human heart more than realizing the power it once held has quietly slipped away. In the game of power, words are currency. The more you spend, the less they are worth. When you speak too much, you give away your position, your thoughts, your vulnerabilities. You reveal your strategy before the first move has even been made. But when you withhold, when you allow silence to stretch into the spaces where others expect a response, you take control of the conversation without uttering a single syllable. Silence is not emptiness. It is not weakness. It is not weakness. It is a wall. And behind that wall, you decide what escapes and what remains hidden. Those who cannot endure it will rush to fill it with their own words, their own guesses, their own confessions. And this is where the power shifts. The more they speak to fill your silence, the more they reveal. Think of the courtroom. The skilled interrogator knows that after asking a question, the most dangerous weapon he can wield is not a follow-up, but the pause. The defendant grows uncomfortable, fills the void with explanations, clarifications, and details that were never requested. In trying to dissolve the tension, they end up handing over the very truths they wanted to conceal. You can do the same in life. When someone expects you to explain, you stay still. When they press for your reaction, you give none. That blank space forces them to question what you are thinking. Hey, are you angry? Are you unimpressed? Are you plotting something they cannot see? The mind cannot tolerate unanswered questions. It will invent answers, and those inventions often reveal more about the person than any interrogation could. Most people equate attention with approval. So, when you withdraw your words, they begin to feel as if they have lost your favor. And because humans are wired to avoid rejection, they begin to work harder to win it back. Your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting their own insecurities back at them. They speak more, they try harder, they become eager to earn the smallest response from you. It is not about being mute, it is about being deliberate. Every time you choose not to answer immediately, every time you let the air grow heavy with unspoken thought, you force the other person to experience the weight of your absence, and that absence becomes valuable. In the courts of power, the ruler does not need to shout. His authority is in the unspoken knowledge that he could speak, that he could decide, but he chooses when and if he will. This is why kings sit in silence and listen while others plead their cases. The petitioner talks themselves into knots, reveals their true intentions, and all the while the king remains still, his thoughts unreadable. Silence also denies the enemy a weapon. The moment you speak in anger, they know they've struck a nerve. The moment you explain yourself, they know you care about their opinion. But if you answer with nothing, if your face remains calm and your voice is absent, you rob them of the satisfaction of knowing they have touched you. They begin to doubt the effectiveness of their attacks. They grow uncertain, and uncertainty makes them cautious. In business, in politics, in relationships, those who can hold silence hold the upper hand. It is the same in negotiations. The first to speak after a proposal often loses. Impatience drives people to compromise. Sure, bro. But if you can endure the pause, if you can let them sit in the discomfort of not knowing, they will often give you more than you ask for just to break the tension. People are terrified of empty space in conversation. They see it as a void that must be filled. But to you, it is not a void. It is a fortress. Every second you withhold your voice, you build walls around your mind. And behind those walls, you control the terms of every engagement. Those who talk too much reveal their weaknesses. Those who stay silent force others to reveal theirs. The one who controls the flow of speech controls the pace of the interaction, and the one who controls the pace is already winning. Because when you master silence, you stop reacting to their tempo. You set your own, and they will adjust whether they realize it or not. Your stillness will make their movements look frantic. Your quiet will make their noise seem desperate. And in time, they will learn to wait for your words as though they are rare coins, because rare things are always worth more. There is a particular kind of fear that has nothing to do with physical danger. It is the fear of losing control. Most people don't even realize how much they rely on the illusion of control in their relationships, their work, and their daily interactions. They believe they know where they stand with you, that they can predict your reactions, that they have a firm grip on how much you care. And as long as they believe this, they feel safe to take you for granted, safe to delay their responses, safe to weigh your worth against other distractions. But remove that certainty and you will watch them unravel. The moment you withdraw the signals that tell them you still care, a quiet storm begins inside their mind. The text you used to send, absent. The laugh they were used to hearing, missing. The warmth they relied on, cold. They are left with a question that grows heavier by the hour. What changed? And the human mind despises unanswered questions. In the absence of clear information, they create their own narratives, and those narratives almost always lean toward fear. This is the panic effect. It is not loud. It is not theatrical. It is the quiet erosion of their confidence in their position with you. You are no longer predictable. Your emotions are no longer on display. Your time is no longer readily available. They cannot read you, and because they cannot read you, they cannot control you. For someone who is used to influence, that is nothing short of terrifying. They start to test the waters, a casual message, just to see how quickly you'll respond, a half-hearted attempt at humor, to see if you'll bite. And when you don't react in the way they expect, the anxiety deepens. The old map they had of you no longer works. The roads are gone, the landmarks erased. Now they are navigating a territory they do not understand, and this is when mistakes happen. In trying to regain control, they overcompensate. They speak too much, they explain unnecessarily, they make small concessions they never would have offered before. The power has shifted, not because you fought for it, but because you quietly stepped back and let their own mind do the work for you. Panic is not always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like politeness where there was once indifference. Sometimes it looks like them suddenly remembering the details of your life they once ignored. Sometimes it looks like effort, real, visible effort to please you. But underneath it all, it is the same root cause. They no longer feel certain that they hold a place in your world. The most potent part of the panic effect is that it works on every level of interaction. In personal relationships, it is the partner who suddenly becomes attentive when you stop chasing. In business, it is the client who rushes to secure your time when you stop following up. In social circles, it is the friend who reaches out more when you become less available. Humans are wired to react to perceived loss, and your withdrawal creates that perception without a single confrontation. What makes this strategy so effective is its simplicity. You are not issuing ultimatums. You are not making grand speeches about your worth. You are simply removing the visible signs that you are invested and letting them feel the weight of that absence. This forces them into a reactive position while you remain in control. They begin to work for your attention instead of assuming it will always be given. But there is another layer to this effect: curiosity. Panic alone can fade if they decide they truly have lost you, but when you combine panic with uncertainty, it becomes obsession. They are not sure if you are pulling away for good, or if this is a test, or if you are simply too occupied with something or someone else. That not knowing becomes an itch they cannot scratch. Every interaction is colored by the need to decode your behavior. Every silence feels like a clue. Every word you do give them feels like something to be analyzed. And all of this happens without you raising your voice, without you pleading for respect, without you chasing anyone. You simply remove the signals of care, and the mind of the other person does the rest. They think about you more when you give them less. They value you more when you make yourself scarce. They panic not because you left, but because they no longer know if you are still theirs to keep. Power in human relationships is rarely taken by force. It is surrendered piece by piece, often without anyone noticing. You give a little more time than you receive. You compromise when they do not. You bend your schedule to fit theirs. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the throne you once sat upon is occupied by someone else. They set the terms, they decide the pace, they choose when and how they engage. And because you are caught in the pattern of giving, you do not notice that you have stepped down from your own seat of influence. Reclaiming the throne does not require a rebellion. It does not require shouting or ultimatums. It begins with something far quieter, the withdrawal of your unquestioned availability. You no longer rush to answer. You no longer accommodate at the expense of yourself. And you no longer speak simply to fill the silence. You begin to measure your presence, and in that measurement, you begin to reset the balance. The throne is not merely a position. It is a mindset. It is the unspoken understanding that your time, your energy, and your attention are valuable resources, and you decide how and when they are spent. When you stop moving according to someone else's demands, you are telling them, without words, that the balance of power has shifted. You are not here to orbit around them. They will now orbit around you. And here is the truth. The throne is not given back willingly. When you change the terms of engagement, the other person will notice. They will feel the difference. They will sense that the rules they once relied on no longer apply. The instant they realize they can no longer predict you, they will begin to adjust their behavior, sometimes in subtle ways, sometimes in desperate ones. This is not because they suddenly respect you more out of morality. It is because they sense that their access to you is no longer guaranteed. The return to the throne is gradual, and each step must be deliberate. When you do speak, you speak with intention. When you do give your time, you give it with purpose, not as a default. When you do show care, it is clear that it is a choice, not an obligation. This scarcity does not diminish your value. It multiplies it. The rarer the treasure, the more fiercely people work to earn it. The beauty of reclaiming the throne is that it requires no announcement. You do not tell them you are changing, you simply change. You begin to carry yourself as someone whose presence is the prize, not the consolation. And slowly the dynamic shifts where once they were confident of your attention, now they wonder if they have done enough to deserve it. Where once they measured your worth against their convenience, now they measure their actions against the possibility of losing you. The throne is also maintained through boundaries that you enforce without hostility. You are not closing the gates to be cruel. You are closing them to remind the world that entry is not free. The conversations you entertain, the favors you grant, the time you spend, these become intentional acts, not automatic reflexes. And the more intentional you become, the more others are forced to step up if they want to remain in your world. You will notice a shift not just in them, but in yourself. As you reclaim the throne, you begin to see that much of the imbalance was not imposed. It was permitted. You allowed certain patterns because you were afraid that pulling back would cost you the connection. What you discover instead is that pulling back strengthens the connection with those who truly value you and exposes the weakness of those who never did. In every court, there are those who wish to stand close to the ruler and those who wish to use the ruler. When you are too available, you cannot tell the difference. But from the throne, you can see clearly who approaches with genuine loyalty and who arrives only when they need something. And this clarity is perhaps the greatest power you gain. Reclaiming the throne is not about domination. It is about restoration. It is the restoration of your self-respect, your standards, and your influence. It is the quiet recognition that you are not here to be an accessory to someone else's life. You are the center of your own, and those who wish to remain must align themselves with that reality. The moment you carry yourself as if you belong on the throne, the world begins to respond accordingly. People stand a little straighter in your presence. They choose their words with more care. They wait for your opinion before they finalize their own. And this is not because you demanded it. It is because you reclaimed what you had unknowingly given away. Power does not shout. It does not beg. It does not chase. It does not chase. It moves in silence, in absence, in the measured choice of when to give and when to withhold. When you stop caring openly, you strip away the safety net others relied on, and they feel the ground shift beneath them. Your indifference makes them uncertain. Your silence makes them reveal themselves. Your absence makes them panic. And when you return on your own terms, seated once again upon the throne they thought was theirs. In this game, you do not win by force. You win by making them realize that the crown was always yours to begin with.